Hi everyone, I'm Brian Flynn and this is Sarah Dutra with the Brian Flynn Home Selling Team. Today Sarah is going to tell us why you should never try to sell your home yourself.
Guys, thanks for watching today, and we are going to talk about a few reasons why selling your home on your own is a terrible idea. Basically, I get this question a lot when I go on listing appointments. Some of my sellers will ask me, hey, I've thought about selling on my own, what are your thoughts on that? Or maybe someone has told them it's a great idea. Very, very bad idea, and I'm going to tell you why. So one of the reasons is liability. When a seller tries to sell the home on their own, they're taking all the liability for something that they actually have no experience or training in. Therefore, mistakes could be made, wrong disclosures could be made, and then that seller is then liable. It's extremely important when you're selling a home representation. So if you're representing the real estate and what you're selling, it's important that you represent it truthfully and accurately. And a lot of times a seller won't know how to do this. So a realtor is trained on what to represent, how to represent it, and is accountable for that. So it's basically like understanding your profession. Where a seller doesn't really understand that profession, they're not going to be able to properly represent the property. Another reason why this is a horrible idea is marketing. So a seller doesn't have the tools and access to market the property the way that a realtor would. We have many different ways in which we can get the property out to the consumer, whether it's websites, whether it's direct mailing, whether it's personal door knocking, whether it's personal phone calls to stir up business. A seller is not going to know these steps to take to get a home sold. And even if they do, again, they're not properly trained in that area and they don't have that experience. So it makes it really, really difficult to properly market your property. Another reason why this is a terrible idea, and this is probably one of the most important, is think about it like this. So what is your profession? What do you do for a living? Okay, let's say you're a plumber. I would not try to do a plumber's job because I have no experience at that. I might know a little bit about it. Maybe someone's told me about it. Maybe I've learned it a little bit along the way, but that is not my trained profession. So I would never try to do someone else's job. And then the same holds true for a seller trying to do a realtor's job. You're not going to get the same result. And we have statistics that prove that. If you look at any statistic over the last few years, they certainly show that for sale by owners never yield the same profit that a home does when listed and sold by a realtor. Another reason why this is not going to work in the benefit of the seller is time is money. So where a seller is going to have to put in all this time and effort to figure out how to properly get the home sold for top dollar, we already understand all that. So we can save the seller time and money. Not only we're going to save them money in the sale of their property, but we're going to save them time preparing the property for sale, all the paperwork that goes into the transaction, all the behind the scenes stuff that you really don't know that we do. I mean, if you think about it, when you look at someone else's job, you don't know, you can see on the outside what they do, but you don't know all the work that goes into it. So we're going to save a seller a lot of time by everything that we do behind the scenes, and that's the value that we bring for the fee that we charge. One of the last reasons that it's important that a seller really considers not selling their home on their own and interviewing some realtors before they make that huge decision is just purely representation. As a realtor, we know how to highlight the property in the best light. So the consumer is really seeing the property the way that is important to get that home sold. And as a seller, they sort of have a biased, opinion about the property. So, we go into homes every day and we see homes and we have this experience. So essentially, we know how to showcase the property in the best way for the seller to yield the most amount of money. And, you know, at the end of the day, lastly, you know, I just want to say that it's really challenging to take on someone else's profession. And as a realtor, we really understand what goes into it, and our job is always to make sure that the process is smooth and seamless for the seller, therefore taking all that burden off of them and still getting a fabulous result. So definitely, if you're ever thinking about selling your home, we highly suggest that you look into the process. You interview a few different realtors and you figure out what is the best course of action for you, and you really look at all your options, because you just don't want to go down that road and find out that you could be essentially costing yourself a large amount of money.
Thank you for watching this video. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave your information below and we will get back to you shortly. Thank you.